So where does the market go next? That question is always on the minds of investors. And tonight we look to the options market for some answers, because options are often a good gauge of investor sentiment and perhaps good forecaster of future market moves as well. Jon Najarian of the Najarian Family Office himself, a longtime options trader for more than 30 years, I think. He joins us tonight from the New York Stock Exchange. Jon, always good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Very good, and always good to be on with you, Bill. Thank you.
Quick primer of options and how they work.
Sure. Well, an option is really just an upside in the call options. That's what we'll discuss. Are upside bets that the market will go higher, whether it's for Apple or whether it's the S&P 500. When it's trading at a certain level, if somebody thinks that the level it goes to is up here, Bill, they'll buy the calls up at that strike, because if they're right, those calls can make them 50%, 100%. The returns are astronomical because it's a leveraged bet, and some of the biggest players on the street use options every day.
And you're seeing a lot of call buying at higher levels right now, aren't you?
We are. So that gives me some optimism about President Trump and Xi when they meet in that summit out in Japan. I have seen short-dated call buying. Again, if the level's here and they're buying up here, Bill, that's bullish. They're also buying way up here. So in other words, there are some bets that the market will rise in the short term over the next week or so, 1 to 2%. That's not extraordinary.
Right.
But out there a month into the future and more, there are bets that the market will rise between 7 and 10% as we go into September. And that's a little bit of outperformance, if you will, going into what are normally summer doldrums. And I guess those are bets based on a positive outcome between our president and the president of China.
And I would remind everybody that, I mean, we had a pretty tough month of May in the stock market, but we had have had a very good month of June, the best in decades here. Are we getting a little overbought, perhaps, do you think, at this point?
Well, we're right back up against some resistance levels, Bill. So when you look back at a 6-month chart, for instance, you'll see that we have topped out and hit resistance, which is what technical folks call it. When you are underneath a level and you trade up there, but you can't break through, that's upside resistance. We have hit this a couple times, but now the bets are that we're going to break through that, especially later in the summer. And that would be something that would really put a booster on the markets and on your returns this year.
So the options market is bullish right now. All right.
Yes, sir.
Jon Najarian, always good to see you. Thanks, bud.
Likewise. Thank you, Bill.
See you later.